What's up, everybody? This is the Gridiron Gilly Show. I'm the host, Gridiron Gilly, and right now I have a special guest with me, Coach Dillon Surratt from Linden, Kildare, the head coach of the Linden Kildare Tigers. Okay, well, Coach, how are you doing, man? You doing all right?
I'm doing good. Thank you for reaching out via email. And when I seen the opportunity to give exposure to our kids and Linden Kildare athletics, I'm going to do that at any chance. So I appreciate you allowing me to use your platform to do that. So,
Well, you may not know this, but this has been in the works for a long time. This is something me and my friends got together on, and we've discussed for the past several years, like, oh, this would be cool to do. But I've been covering college and NFL for the last few years, just making quick little videos and putting them out on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. My best friend, he's like, you got to do high school football, man, because he's a big high school football nut, like especially East Texas. So he's like, man, you got to do it. And I was like, I would like to, but that's a whole different monster, man. I'm gonna have to interview coaches. And I was like, I just felt like it was too big of a task. But the more I thought about it, the more I fell in love with the idea, because I was like, really, in East Texas, a lot of teams get swept under the rug, or I guess put out to pasture. Like no one really cares. Like Dave Campbell's, for instance, they do a little bit in East Texas, but the majority of stuff that they do is like DFW in Houston, San Antonio, the big 5A and 6A schools, and they always forget about the little man down in 2A and 3A.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
So that's why I decided to do this, man. And so far, so good. You're my fourth. This is my fourth interview. I've emailed probably 40 something coaches. Like I get on my Google Maps and I'm like, I find me an area and I'm like, oh wait, I haven't talked to I haven't messaged anybody from this school yet, So that's how I made my way up to Linden. I was like, I got Linden, I got Atlanta, a bunch of schools I never even heard of. Up there in, I guess, your neck of the woods. But
we're gonna when you send me the link to this podcast, we're gonna put it on our Facebook athletic page, so everybody may get you some more views, more clicks, and things like that. So we're gonna publicize it as well on our end. So
all right, man, I appreciate that. I was looking at the magazine, the Dave Campbell's, before me and you got on here, and I was just looking over it just to see if you had any players in there mentioned that if they're pretty good, if they're like going to be a difference maker this year for you. And I saw a few guys, and I saw that you're the nephew of Coach Surratt at Carthage. I figured y'all were kin because you got the same last name.
We are kin. That is my dad's brother. He's been pretty successful.
Yeah, he's a pretty good one. I guess my first question is, well, just tell me about yourself first. Tell me about your history, where you grew up at, where you played ball at, and I guess just your coaching history. Maybe if you've been at LK for a while.
I'm fine with it. I'm an open book, so you ask me anything. We don't. One thing I told everybody when I got here is we're not going to shy away from publicity and pressure at Linden Kildare any longer. So, I'm an open book. I graduated in 2010 from Redwater High School. I then went to Texas A&M Texarkana locally. Got a bachelor's in history. Got my teaching certificate. My first year out the gate was in 2014 at Pleasant Grove. I was there 1 year. And then I hooked up with Matt McClure when he was the athletic director, head football coach in Atlanta. We went 4 rounds deep. Excuse me. We lost to Gilmer in 15 at Pine Tree. Phenomenal atmosphere, phenomenal game. Still to this day, I close my eyes at night sometimes and I see the one play Gilmer did to get a first down, because if they hadn't have got it, I'm not saying we would have went 93 on the Buckeyes to win it, but I will say that, it gave us a shot. But learned a lot from him. Him and Coach Craig Fant are probably my 2 biggest mentors in coaching. I bounced a lot of ideas off of them. From there, I went with Craig Fant to New Boston as the defensive coordinator. We spent a year there. Just wasn't the right fit. Nothing happened. A huge deal happened or anything like that. It wasn't the right fit. And then I made my way over to Liberty Ilo. When Coach King got there in 19, he lasted a year, and then I hung in there for the next 5.5. And then in December of this year, I was thankfully, I was blessed to be appointed the athletic director and head football coach here at Linden Kildare. So I got here. My first day here was January 6th, and every day I've been here is boots on the ground and working hard and trying to change, and instill what Linden Kildare used to be. So
And you said you're from Redwater? Is that what you said?
I am.
Where is that at? Because I have no idea.
Redwater's about 15, probably about 15 minutes south of Texarkana.
Okay.
So it's a little on the outskirts of Texarkana, off of Highway 67.
So you're not far. You're not far from home then now.
No, I'm not. No, actually, my dad graduated from Linden Kildare. My grandmother still lives in Linden Kildare. Um, both my uncles obviously graduated from here as well. I have a lot of Surratt family in Linden Kildare, and it was home without being home. And I knew I wanted to get back here because of the familiarity of knowing everybody in town, and my dad having a bunch of friends in town. And actually, when I was born, my mom and dad, they lived here in Linden, Kildare. So I knew a lot about this place. I knew a lot about the tradition and the history of Linden Kildare. And like I say, I'm truly blessed. And I thank the Board of Trustees and the superintendent, Mr. Burks, for selecting me to be the athletic director and head football coach here.
Well, I'm excited for you, man. You got a lot of work to do from what I've seen so far with that program. But like I said, it can be done. It can be done. I've seen a lot of teams do it, and a lot of programs in worse shape be turned around. I looked at on Max Preps. I did the same. The last coach I interviewed, I did the same thing with him because his program has been down the last few years, I believe. So I looked at it and I was like, man, like I didn't expect. I thought y'all were like 7-3 every year. I didn't know y'all were struggling 2-8 every year. So
well, and the big thing is we a couple of those years we played up in a division we had no business. I say we, I wasn't here obviously, but Linden Kildare didn't have they didn't have the numbers in athletics. They had them in the hallways, so to speak, and so they took it on the chin quite a bit, just playing in a division up that they probably shouldn't have played in. It just kind of the way the cookie crumbled. But far as the past and their records and the results that they've had in the past, none of that came in as a factor to me. I didn't look at that. They could have went 10-0 every year. They could have went 0-10 or 1-9 or 2-8. I mean, none of that mattered to me. I knew that going into it, nothing's easy. If it was easy and set up right, honestly, I probably wouldn't have a shot at it. So I wanted to get in here. The first thing I wanted to do was hire really good coaches, coaches that want to coach, coaches that are great for the kids. I feel like I've done that as to the best of my ability. And then the next thing is just taking the kids and just teaching them, you know, I tell them all the time, one thing about rock bottom is it's a great foundation to build on, and so if we're going to be on rock bottom, if that's where we're at, then let's start laying a brick down and another brick, and let's build this thing back up. And I truly can sit here and say I'll be here when this thing comes back. This is a goal of mine. This is something that I think about all the time, and I want to put the best foot forward for Linden Kildare and the coaches that I have on my staff. They want to do that as well, and so we're really good where we're at right now, and I think there'll be some great things happen at Linden Kildare this year as far as football.
well, that's what that's what I was going to ask, because at Linden Kildare, I'm not sure what the culture has been in the past or what's been expected from that program in the past. I don't know what the town expects or what the fans expect whenever they go watch Linden Kildare play on Friday nights. But can you tell me from this point moving forward what the expectations are going to be and what the culture that you're going to build there will be?
Well, the very first thing we're going to do, we're going to work hard, act right, and we're going to play tough. The physicality has got to come up. I'm still got an old school mentality. I want them to play hard. We're going to play hard. That's the main thing, and that's what I'm trying to instill in them right now is just playing hard and never quitting. I mean, they can see us make a mistake, but I don't want anybody to ever see us quit. And that's the mentality I'm trying to instill in them. Man, this town's still like your 1985 town. I mean, Friday night football comes around, they can be, the struggles they've had in the past. And I walked out for a scrimmage, and there wasn't anywhere in the stands to sit. I mean, this town it craves Friday night football. This town, this community is very, very supportive of athletics. Um, I would say truly it's a gold mine if you can just get it inside of this locker room, get it going just a little bit. There's not anything that the community and the town wouldn't do for Linden Kildare football and athletics as a whole. And so it's very special when you have a community support like that. And my main goal is to give them something to be proud of when they come out on Friday nights and watch us play football.
So I'm going to give you that
Mhm.
platform now to
Okay.
talk about your team, offense, defense, special teams, whatever facets you want to talk about, and just
Okay.
get these guys' names out there. The guys who go out there and strap it up every Friday night and put the work in that
Okay.
don't get the spotlight that they deserve.
I understand. And I appreciate you for that because these kids, they do need to be recognized. I mean, it's hard work coming up here all summer long. First and foremost, our team, it starts with the quarterback, Keegan Sailors. He's a senior. He's a leader. He shows up every day. He works hard. He's where he's supposed to be. The main thing is he has accepted his role that everything's my fault or his. And so that's what I put on him. He understands that. He comes to work every day. The next one that starts with is going to be our offensive line. Starts with our left tackle, Kason Lyles. He's a junior. He's a collegiate football player. I don't know exactly at what level, but he can play college football. And I'm going to work towards getting him the exposure he deserves because he's a good player. And then I have two. I have the two-headed monster, two sophomore running backs. Uh, Jacorian Love and Brecken Wells. They're both sophomores. They both run hard. They're both of them can play college football as well at some level. I'm not sure the level. I tell them all the time, you're as good as you're getting recruited. If you're getting recruited to play Division III, you're a Division III football player, but that's still college football.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that them two right there, I got Brecken's more of a bruiser back. He'd rather run over you than around you. Jacorian has a little more vision, a little more wiggle to him. But at the same time, Corey's physical. He'll put his head in there and he'll get the tough 2 or 3 yards. Um, we're a power football running team. We're going to run the ball at you, is what is our goal, is our plan. So the one I'm most proud of right now would be a freshman. He's actually the quarterback's little brother, Peyton Sailors. Big kid, athletic, can move. He starts at left guard and five tech for us on the offense and defensive line. He's a collegiate football as well, player as well. Once he gets older, he's going to grow in, even keep growing. And his mentality is he never quits. He's going to keep fighting. And then we got some skill guys. We have a kid named Jarek Madison. He's coming on. He's just a junior. He's going to come on. I had a Tyler Hankins, whose dad coached here for a long time, and he graduated from Linden Kildare. They had moved off. He had moved back to Linden Kildare this year. He brought his boys back. He brought his son Maddox Hankins back. He's a junior slot receiver and one of our safeties. Phenomenal, phenomenal baseball player. Is going to go play baseball at a high level for us at the next level. And he's just a junior, very athletic, very smart. Really the backup quarterback. And if I didn't have Keegan, he would be the quarterback. Uh, Athletic, can catch it and run. And then we got Chance Kirkland. He's our 6'2" target on the outside. Not the blow the top off of you kind of speed. He's just your more possessive, big bodied, possessive receiver. Throw him slants. Maybe you can get him out on a play action X post over the top. And and he plays outside backer for us. And then, we have a lot of kids on our team. And I mean, I could sit here for an hour and go over every one of them. And I know all of them. It's just, we have a lot of kids on our team that do whatever it takes for the team. One kid name, he's just going to be a sophomore. He played offensive line last year. I moved him to linebacker this year, Bentley Bobbitt. Not the most athletic kid you've ever seen, not the fastest kid, but if they're going to run, if they're going to run the ball, they got to run through him. He's not going to get out of the way. He's going to stick his neck down there. And I can say that about a lot of kids that we have on our team. A lot of kids right now, um, you know, our team really is. We're learning, myself included. I make as much mistakes as they do. I mean, I'm a first year head coach. I've only been a head football coach for 4 quarters of my life, and that was last Thursday night. And so, as I go back and watch the film and reflect, I made as many or more mistakes than they did. It's just the crowd don't see it as much, So I told the kids in the locker room, this one's on me. I didn't prepare them well enough. I did not make sure my coaches was prepared well enough, and so from here on out, and any time something bad happens, it's my fault. If it's really good and we're winning and we're running and we're scoring touchdowns, that's the kids doing it. If we're getting stuffed and we can't stop running water on defense, that's on me. And so and that's how I truly am, because I feel like I'm the only one that can fix it. Me and my coaches, and so that won't happen again where we don't look like we're prepared. And so I'm very excited where we're at. And those kids I named, there's a cornerstone. We are an extremely young football team. We're starting 3 freshmen on the offensive line, two sophomore. No, I'm sorry, three, 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and a junior on the offensive line. 2 sophomore running backs, 2 sophomore receivers, a junior receiver, a senior receiver. Next year, I'm going to return 10 on defense, and we're going to turn 9 on offense. So the future's looking up for us, and it's going to take these kids buying in and continuing to work. And there's no reason why they won't, because they've done it since the day I got here. So we can just build on it. So.
And that's what, just from listening to you talk right there, it seems like the talent's there. It seems like you have the guys. You just got to get that switch flipped. You got to get that mentality to buy into what you're selling, and then, I mean, it's only up from there. This team was 0-10 last year. I saw 0 wins last year, 7th place in the district. This year, improvement. That's all we're looking for. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
That's what I told the coach I interviewed the other night. Is I think they got 5th in their district, so they just missed the playoff last year. I said, man, and he was talking about building that culture there of what they used to be, getting back to that. And I said, man, like it's not going to be an overnight success. It'd be great if it was, but really, I just want to see improvement. And I keep up with all these teams, like all the coaches I've interviewed. I watched them some highlights from the other night. I kept up with it on the Dave Campbell's app. Even you, after you reached out to me and said that you would do the interview, I kept up with what y'all did the other night, and I just want to see improvement. I think whether you go 1-9 this year, hopefully not. Hopefully that's not the case.
No, I mean,
but it is improvement nonetheless.
It is.
Something I haven't done yet. I talked to a few people that give me feedback on these interviews after I put them out. They was like, you need to ask these coaches like situational football stuff. And I was like, yeah, that'd be cool, to do, like come up with a situation or scenario, hit you with it, and see how you respond to it.
Hit me with it. I'm ready.
Okay.
If I can't do it in an interview, I can't do it in a game. So let's go.
I said that, and my best friend was like, well, if you do that, you might get them exposing their cards, and they might not want to tell you what they would do if it happened, because it might actually happen to them in a game. And I was like,
I'm gonna be honest with you. They can have my play calling sheet. They don't know when I'm gonna call it though.
Yeah, I was like, well, even if it does happen in a game, I was like, he could just finesse me then and just tell me some bull crap that he just came up with. No. Coach Schiano at Rutgers, he said, and I quoted this the other night, but he said, every man in America thinks they can do 2 things. They can work a grill and coach football. And I was like, that's true. Everybody thinks they can do it. Every Friday night that you're out there coaching, you got hundreds of people at the games thinking they can 100%. Take your job in a heartbeat and do better than what you do.
And it's always funny to me. Somebody will stand up and scream, "We got a block!" Like we forgot to go over that this week. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, we forgot to go over that. That missed the boat on that one.
Got to block and tackle, and you got to control the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
that's how you win the game.
It's just fun. It's just funny they yell, "We got a block!" Like, oh, we never thought about that.
We didn't think.
Thanks for reminding us. Yeah.
But
hit me with the situation.
The situation here, and I see they have Clarksville picked as the favorite in your district this year. Clarksville and Watt are the top 2 teams that the experts have picked in that district. So let's say you're playing Clarksville and you're playing them for the district championship this year.
Mm-hmm.
Timeouts are not an issue. Fourth quarter, 1 minute left in the game. So you're up
Mm-hmm.
38-36, 1 minute left in the game, and you're on your own 17-yard line. Neither defense is stopping each other. It's just whoever has the ball last wins type of game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so y'all both been scoring all night, trading blows. If you punt this ball to this team, they've got a minute left. They got the timeouts. They can go down, kick a field goal, win, or go down, get the touchdown and win.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we're looking at a 4th and 1. Are we going to punt it?
I'm going for it.
We're going to go for it?
100%.
Okay. I like that.
Yep. If I've scored 38 points, I can get 1 yard. And I can tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna go swinging gate in the middle of, after a timeout. I'm gonna burn a timeout. We're gonna get our swinging gate personnel out there, and I'm gonna put my left tackle, Kason Lyles, who's 6'4", and he weighs 300 pounds. We're gonna direct snap him the ball out of the swinging gate, and he's gonna fall forward for 1 yard, and we're gonna get a first down. We're gonna ice it. Yep. And that's what. And I'm just right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm being honest with you. That's what I'm going to call. That's what and I'm not the offensive coordinator, but in that situation, I'll tell him this is what we're going to do. We're going to direct snap it to Case and Lyles. We're going to have another lineman right in front of him, and we're going to go forward. And at 6'4", he can fall 1 yard. So we're going to get the first down, and we're going to ice it and take a knee and get out of there. So,
well, Coach Dillon, Surratt, congratulations, because you just won the district championship with that play call right there.
Yeah. I'm going to always and forever. I'm going to always and forever never, because life happens to everybody, and at the end of the day, there's so many people out there dealing with everything that there's no sense in being conservative in a game. Take chances, have fun. Even if you don't get it, they're going to remember the kids will remember their memories of, I had a coach that went for it. I had a coach that laid it out and he believed in us to go for it, instead of just being cautious and snapping it. Because here's the thing, you take a 12-yard snap on a punt. What about if we fumble it? I mean, now we look, just put it in somebody's hands you trust, go forward, see what happens. So,
well, the coach that came to Joaquin and turned that program around whenever I was coming up, Coach Gandy, his philosophy was always 4 yards and a cloud of dust. He was like,
mm-hmm.
if you just get 4 yards, you control the line of scrimmage, you control the pace of the game, just 4 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards, you'll win that way.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his philosophy, and that's how he turned the program around. Well, I remember my senior year, we was in that situation. It was a district game, late in the game, and coach called a timeout, and I think we were at like a third and 4 maybe, and we were trying to go down and ice the game pretty much because we were ahead. And I remember at the timeout, our offensive coordinator asked the head coach. She was like, "Hey, if we don't get third down, do we go for it on 4th? Like, what should we do?" And the head coach said, he was like, "What is it?" And he said 3rd and 4. And he was like, "Oh, if we can't get the 4 yards, then we don't deserve to win anyways." And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "I like it. I like it." And that was his mentality and his philosophy. And I mean, it worked. We wound up getting 4 yards and winning that game. But that's something that I've always thought about since that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Is just being gutsy, being free, bite down on your mouthpiece, and just go get the yards. So your play call, I like it and I respect it.
Well, I appreciate it.
I got my board back there with I got a bunch of questions written down, but I'm not going to ask all of them.
You got all day. You can ask me whatever you want.
You tell me your favorite coaches earlier, or the ones who inspired you.
Mm-hmm.
Previously.
My mentors. Yep.
Yes, your mentors, and that was one of the questions. I'm not going to ask that because you've already brought that up. But
now I will say Scott Surratt he's up there too. It ain't. I mean, he has helped me more than probably anybody. I just don't bother him as much with all the knick-knack stuff of everyday athletic director. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty and I have to find somebody to lean on and know something, I'm calling my uncle. There's no doubt about it. So I do want to say that. So
yeah, he knows a little bit. I feel like I shot that guy an email too, waiting for him to get back with me one day.
I'll let him. Hey, I'll message him tomorrow and tell him he needs to get on with you. So
I do. You said something about Pleasant Grove a while ago. Josh Gibson, I will have him on at one point. He already reached out to me. and he just said now wasn't a good time because they were like
Mhm.
pretty busy. This was like 2 weeks ago, but he was like, "Get up with me in a couple of weeks," and he's like, "I definitely will do it." And I was like, "Yes, sir." But
Okay.
I've got you today, and then I've got another coach, Jefferson. I got Jefferson's head coach Tuesday. I need to find somebody for tomorrow. I want to do an interview tomorrow too. But like I told some people the other day, I was talking. I said I want to interview every coach in East Texas. And whenever I do that, I'll re-interview them, and I'll re-interview them, and then I'll interview other coaches. I'll interview coordinators. I'll interview whoever, just because I enjoy doing it. I didn't know how it would go, but I enjoy it and I like it and it's fun. I'm just going to
And that's
continue.
all that matters. Yeah. No, I mean I'm actually, it's Sunday at 4:30. I'm at the field house right now, and I've been here since 2, planning for the game on Friday night. And I, I'll say this about planning or preparing. I want to, in my mind, put it back on the kids because I've gave them all the information they need to be successful. Now, what they do with that information is going to be on them. I'm going to hold them to a standard. We're going to work hard. We're going to act right. We're going to play tough. But at the same time, they're going to know to the best of my ability where the ball's going, how their formations are, where to line up at, how to execute, how to block this. And then it's our job as coaches to critique it, fix it, change it. I got one of the best up and coming offensive line coaches in the state of Texas. There's no telling where that guy's going to end up. He's one of the most knowledgeable human beings I've ever been around. He actually played left guard at Gilmer in 15 when I coached against him. Johnny Perez, he played for Gilmer. Dude, everywhere he's been has been successful, and he's a third-year coach, and he was under Kirk Traylor at Gilmer, and then he was under Craig Fan at ETBU, and he's one of the most knowledgeable O-line guys in the state of Texas. I mean, he could. There's no doubt in my mind he could go coach the 6A South Lake Carroll offensive line right now, and I'm just Linden Kildare is fortunate to have him in our locker room, and then I hired Kamen Freeman, quarterback at Liberty Iowa. When they went 2 round in 14, they went 4 rounds against Argyle in the 4th round, and then in 15 they did it again. The best football player, the best high school football player I've ever coached against. Fortunately, he came on board with me. So I've got guys in here that's been there, done that, played collegiate football. And that's what I wanted. And, not only are they very intelligent football coaches, but they've seen the world. They've been recruited. They've went and played at this level and played here and play there. So there's kids that in this locker room that can ask questions, can see about experiences, and these guys actually walked it every day and lived it. And so it's just we're blessed at Linden Kildare to have those type of guys on our coaching staff for the kids and for this athletic program.
Are you a college or NFL guy?
College.
Everybody is. I don't know why I
Yeah.
asked that question.
But I will say this about the NFL. So I like watching the overall college game. When I do watch a college game, I like watching the game. But in the NFL, I just like watching like maybe the left tackle. Like I won't watch the whole game. Like I won't watch it as a bit. Like I focus in because if you want to see, like I'm a defensive guy, so a lot of times I watch the linebackers. The whole play can be going on. I just watch them ball, maybe a fade. I just watch what they do because those guys are they're the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They're the best linebackers in the world. They're the best O linemen. They're the best D linemen. Like, and there's a misconception out there that they're not very good. Like, oh, he's not very good. He's in one of the 32 NFL teams and he's starting. Like, he's the best high school football player that ever came out of his school. He's probably one of the top collegiate players that ever came out of his college. And so when you look at those guys, they're the best in the world. And so I like watching. Like for instance, last night I watched Clemson LSU at night. Last night I just watched it. I don't know any of those kids. I don't know anybody. I don't. I just watched the game. Maybe grab a formation or two out of it for our offense. Maybe something like that. But in the NFL, I watch the actual individual technique and the players because it amazes me because I just understand as I'm coaching and I've coached for the past 12 years how hard it is to do that on a consistent play after play basis, and that's what draws me to the NFL is, this guy's always taking the right steps. He's always shucking the block correctly. He's always doing this, and that's not an always. That's the only level that it always is like that. And so it's really truly man on man who's better because they all can do it, and that's what intrigues me to the NFL more than just watching the game.
Do you have a favorite college team that you follow?
I have favorite college coaches.
Okay.
And so wherever they're coaching is my favorite team. Obviously, my favorite coach is Lane Kiffin. Uh, so when he was at USC, when he was at Tennessee, now he's at Ole Miss. I'll turn on Ole Miss at any time I can. And then my other one is I met Kirby Smart at a clinic. The only reason, and I like him, and because he actually took the time to talk and not act like a big shot. He was very approachable, things like that. So I really like him. And then I got two really close. I say really close as they can be. Just to a high school football coach, Barry Odom at Purdue. Me and him text quite often, back and forth. He actually texted me congratulations when I got this job. When he was going from UNLV to Purdue. And then he's the defensive coordinator now at Georgia Tech, but a coach named Blake Gideon, who was the safeties coach at Texas,
Yeah.
and me and him, we've visited quite a bit. And so those are probably my four. I pull for Georgia Tech for Gideon. I want Purdue to do well for Odom. I want Georgia to do good, but at the end of the day, I think Lane Kiffin. If I had to put something on, I think Lane Kiffin's probably my favorite coach. So.
Did you watch the Alabama game yesterday?
I did. I did watch it. The quarterback at Florida State is the real deal. He's the real deal. He's really good. You can definitely see it's been 2 years since Nick Saban's left Alabama.
That's what I said.
It's starting to fall apart on him.
My college football video I did last week, I broke it down and because I talked about like 10 games. Well, I put it all on TikTok, and people were like blowing my TikTok up yesterday because I had Auburn picked to lose to Baylor, and that didn't happen. So people were like, "Oh man, you should just give up doing this. You suck at this." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm the first person ever to get a college football prediction wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me go hide in my mom's basement." But
Yeah.
no, one of the best college football people, in my opinion, he's been saying for a while that Bama would win the championship this year, and he's given like good reasons why. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. So yesterday I was like, Bama's going to win this game 100%. And the Florida State quarterback, he had been talking a bunch of trash going into that game about Alabama. And I was like, yeah, Alabama's about to light this dude up. And he backed it up. Everything he said, he backed up. Florida State quarterback did.
I'll be 100% honest with you, and it's probably because I've been busy. I had absolutely no idea Gus Malzahn was the offensive coordinator at Florida State until I watched the game yesterday. Like somewhere along the way, I missed that headline. I had no idea. I mean, Gus Malzahn's one of the best offensive minds, and I think there's people out there that are really, really good coordinators, and they're not very good head coaches. And then I think there's guys out there that are really, really, really good head coaches, but maybe not as great play callers. Like Dabo Swinney, he's never been a coordinator in his life, and I'm not a Dabo Swinney fan by no means. But I will say, he's obviously a really, really, really good head coach, but he's never been a coordinator, and so I think Malzahn is a extremely intelligent offensive coordinator, and when he can just focus on being an offensive coordinator, the best of him comes out, because you could have seen some of the formations and the plays they run yesterday against Alabama, and it was some creative, elite level X's and O's, and that's who Malzahn is. So, but I had no idea he was at Florida State.
I just found out he was at Florida State a couple weeks ago. Whenever I was like just doing some research on some teams, and I saw that he was the new OC over there, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that, because I knew.
Where did he come from? Was he the head coach somewhere and got fired?
He coached at Auburn whenever they won a championship, right?
Yeah, but where was he at last year? I don't even know. Was he retired? I don't even, was he at UCF? I don't know.
I think he was at Central Florida.
I don't think
sometime.
I know he was there recently. I just don't know if last year.
I don't know if it was last year, but it's been sometime in the past few years. It could have been last year though, because UCF They got the Arkansas quarterback last year, KJ Jefferson. He was there. No,
Yeah.
I watched college football all day long yesterday, and the game I was looking forward to the most didn't come on until 10 o'clock last night. So it was Utah and UCLA. But I've been really big on Utah this year. I think they're going to win the Big 12. If they don't, they'll be in the Big 12 championship. So I think they got a great quarterback. He's a transfer from New Mexico, and I've been boosting them to the moon, just talking all kind of praise about them. And so hopefully they pan out for me because people won't be
Yeah.
trashing me in the DMs on TikTok if
Well,
that's the case.
I will say, I if I had to pick a Big 12 team right now, it'd be Texas Tech.
Well, that's my other contender. I have Tech and Utah as the
Yeah.
Big 12 championship.
And Texas Tech is spending a lot of money right now, and and I don't, and I'll say this about Alabama and defending DeBoer. It's not that I think he's a horrible coach or it's a big change of the guard from Nick Saban to him. I just think the NIL's been in effect long enough that everybody can get back to an even playing field with Alabama. I mean, I think Florida State can spend as much money on good players as Alabama can. I think Texas can. I think Auburn can. And I think there was a reason why Nick Saban got out when Nick Saban got out. I think he knew
That was going to be the case.
just going to Alabama and going to the NFL. I think he's so pure to college football he couldn't truly recruit somebody when they started talking about money figures. And I think he knew that if he in his heart of heart can't do that, then he needs to step away because eventually it's going to tarnish what he's done. Now he's a fantastic, probably the best collegiate football coach there's ever been. It's just I think it wasn't his cup of tea and it was time for him to get out. But I think DeBoer is getting an unfair view of things because the NIL's been in effect long enough and the landscape of it's been going around. I think everybody can catch up to those elite teams because right now it's almost if you pay for it, there's a price tag now on national championships. I don't know how much it is, but there'll be a school one day come from nowhere. They'll have some donor come out and Purdue comes to mind, just a school kind of like that middle of the road, Illinois, something like that. And they'll look up and they'll have 14 first round draft picks that they paid for. And you can't do nothing about it. So, and I think like the Texas Tech and Utah is probably a prime example of what I'm talking about, how they can come back to being relevant again. And Sarkisian said it best yesterday after the Ohio State game. He thinks the days of being it's such a level playing field, the days of an undefeated national champion are over. Now I know he just lost, so he can say that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Texas got more issues than they think they do, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I had Texas picked to win that game only because I can't. I don't like Ohio State, and I'm not gonna bet on them to win any games, even though they'll probably win every game. I just don't like Ohio State. I never have, but they've always been the cream of the crop. But I had Texas win
Mm-hmm.
that game, and which really like everyone's like Arch Manning this, Arch Manning that, and I'm like, even if he's not that great, if he doesn't pan out as to what people thought he was going to be, I don't think you can take that much from Texas because they literally played probably the best team in college football yesterday. So until they play, I mean, they'll have to play a few more games.
LSU.
Yeah, they'll have to play a few more games for me to make my decision on that. But I still think Texas can be a contender.
I think so too. But the biggest thing with Texas is well, overall the biggest thing with the NIL, in my opinion, is when you pay a kid $6.8 million to play quarterback for you, and he doesn't work out. What do you do? Like you've asked all these people to give you money to give to this kid so he stays, and then he's not very good. You can't pull the trigger on him because you need those donors to still trust when you need money again in the future. So it's a different dynamic and landscape because if the NIL's not involved and Arch does maybe another game or two of what he did yesterday, he's not the starting quarterback at Texas anymore.
Exactly.
You know, but I think he'll be the starter for all 12 or 13 games because they have so much invested in him monetarily, obviously. But he's I don't think he's very good. I didn't think he was very good when he's coming out of high school. I know he had a lot of publicity, a lot of hype because of his last name, but I just don't think. I think there was better quarterbacks, obviously, but and everybody said, and I even told some coaches I was talking to, don't come to me and say that he's always young. He's been in college for, you know, he's he's been there. He's been in this system. He's been in the meetings. I mean, this may have been his first game he ever started, but he's been around the college life and the college game,
Right.
and I think he's going to struggle, and he may not. I hope he doesn't. I don't wish ill on anybody. It just nothing I seen yesterday looked good. I can tell you that.
And I think it's kind of to your point. I think it's because of his last name is why he had. That's obviously the reason why is his last name is why he's got so much publicity and hype around him. But the bad thing about it is he has to live up to those expectations, and if he doesn't, if he isn't as great as people has expected, then oh well, he's a bad quarterback and he's a bust and this that and the other. That's going to be the narrative surrounding him.
And I'll say this, me and my uncle do the same thing, and so I deal with a lot of that, of the Surratt name, my last name and things like that, and everybody's anxious to see if I can do it too, and those kind of things. So I mean, I deal with that. So, but at the same time, I'm a totally different person. We're at totally different points in our careers and our lives, obviously, and but there, I get some of that. Far as just, I'm a Surratt, and you read almost any article, and it says that my uncle Scott is, a 10-time state champion from Carthage. That's in almost every article. So I deal with some of that, not obviously to an extent of Arch Manning, obviously, but I understand a little bit of the whole expectations because of your name that really Arch had nothing to do with. Just like I have nothing to do with it. So, but I'm here for it. I can't change my name, so
Yes. Do you kick extra points or you go for two?
go for two. If you're 50% on 2-point tries, you're 100% on PATs. I'd rather be 50% than 100.
You already told me you're a defensive guy, so would you rather win from a game-winning touchdown or a goal line stand? Would you rather win a game?
Mm, man, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think it matters as long as we win. I mean, whatever. I just don't think it matters. I think some people have the dream of throwing the big Hail Mary and winning at the end. Or it doesn't matter how I've learned it don't matter how you win as long as you win. And I'd like to say that I would want the big goal line stand and stuff them on 4th and inches to win the game. But as much as I love defense, man, I love that ball being there, and I love trick plays, and I love different formations. And so I think if I had my choice, it would just to be able to go back and watch it. I think it would be like some crazy trick play that we ran and won the game with. To be honest with you, so. But at the end of the day, I just want Linden Kildare to win football games. I don't care how it's at.
Exactly.
70-69 or 2-0. Let's just win. So
That's these are questions I've asked every coach, and I was like, I'm going to ask every coach these questions. And the other question was, would you rather win a game 48-0 or 6-0? But the coach was like, you should reword that, because I mean, most people would rather win 48-0. So
mhm.
he's like, would you rather win 6-0 or 62-60? He's like, that's a better question to ask. And so that's my next question for you. What you just said, you didn't care. Winning is winning, but
No, winning is winning. But if I had to pick, I'd rather win 6-0.
6-0, yeah, good. And that's what.
Because I call the defense, and you go 48-46. One, we're out there about 3.5 hours, 4 hours because we're all scoring. And two, in my personal opinion, if it's 6-0, then it just instills more in the kids that like, hey, they can't get an inch. Like we have just a little bit of we're just in front of them by a step. Don't give them that step, you know. And so where my program is in football right now, it would mean more to me on the trajectory I'm trying to get this football team to win 6-0 rather than 48-6, 48-46. But I can tell you this Friday night on September 5th, if somebody said, "Hey, Coach Surratt, you can win, but it's going to be 50-49," I'm going to win 50-49. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just the bottom line. We got a really good team coming in here Friday night. We're trying. I'm working on it right now. We're going to work on it all week. We're going to come up with as good as plan as we can come up with, and hopefully the kids respond well this week and are energetic for homecoming and get a win. You know, I mean that's Texarkana Gazette asked me what my expectations was this year, and even in the article they put out, it was just to win football games. I don't have any more expectations. I just want to win a football game, and then once we win one, let's win two, and then once we win two, let's win three. And I don't know what our ceiling is this year. If it's 5 wins, 4 wins, 2 wins, 6 wins, whatever we can do as a group this year, I want to do that. And once we get into the thick of things, if we're starting to find our identity and these kids are starting to gel together and the injury bug stays out of our locker room and the ceiling's 5 wins, let's go get 5 wins. If it's 4, let's get 4. If it's 7, let's get 7. So it can't be 10 because we've already lost one. So now we're at 9. So let's see if we can get 9 wins and let's move forward.
Who do y'all play? Who do y'all play Friday?
Okay, I really don't know how to exactly pronounce it correctly, so I apologize if I mispronounce it, but I believe it's Comas Neal.
Oh yeah.
I believe it, and I'm not sure if that's exactly how you pronounce it. That's how I've been pronouncing it, but I've never been there. And I apologize if anybody sees this and I've mispronounced it. But I believe it's Comas Neal, but I'm not sure.
We played them before too. Whenever I was in high school, and I don't think anybody knows how to pronounce it. I don't even think they know how to pronounce it.
Well, I've talked to the coach, and he does not pronounce it like that. But then when I talked to their radio guy, he did pronounce it like that. So I'm not sure. Like I say, I'm not disrespecting them at all. I don't know how to pronounce their name uh, properly if that's not the proper way to do it. So
Well, hopefully y'all run it down their throats Friday night and get that homecoming victory.
I just want to cross the white line that gives us 6 points a couple times, and we'll see what happens.
See, whenever I came up with this deal to interview people, I want to interview fans too. I haven't interviewed a single fan yet. I've just interviewed head coaches. But like I said,
Be careful.
I'll interview your defensive line coach or whoever just because they're a coach. You said be careful with the fans.
Yes, be careful with them. In my opinion, they're all going to have a very good opinions, and but
Well,
make sure make sure your questions are very vanilla. In
well
my
the
opinion.
reason I want to interview fans is because which I don't expect you to do it. I don't expect any coach to do it. Um, but every time I listen to coaches talk, like your uncle,
Mm-hmm.
he's at a established program, the best program in East Texas by far,
Mm-hmm.
or if not top 2 program, maybe them in Longview. But I think Carthage is the top program.
I'd say as a program overall, with the
Carthage.
success he's had, he's the best in East Texas. There's no doubt.
But
So
if you got somebody like that playing a team that is 3-7, Carthage is about to put it on them. But then you interview the coach, and he's not going to go out there and say, "Oh yeah, we're about to beat the brakes off of these guys." He's going to be humble and he's going to be empathetic
right.
and,
Yeah.
and say what he needs to say. But that's how all coaches are. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
cool with that. But I was like, I want to interview fans because I want to know what people really think.
You want the unfiltered responses.
Yes, I want because I've
The
talked
ones where
I've
yeah.
talked to coaches before, and they'll be like, "Yeah, it'll be this game," and I'm like, "No, shoot me straight." And they're like, "Oh shoot, yeah, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna lose." Like I've heard that before too.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't.
Well, and it's I will say as a coach mentality though, and I especially like where I'm at here at Linden Kildare, I can never wake up and think that. Not one day.
Mm-hmm.
Because this place has been not as successful in the past as they should have, could have, would have been, however you want to look at it. But, you are what you believe. The words you believe about yourself and who you are, that's who you become. Those make your habits. Those make your habits turn into your daily work ethic. Your daily work ethic turns into who you are. And so I have to wake up every single day and, this is the best job in Texas. This is the best athletic program in Texas. This is the best football team in Texas. I have the best quarterback in Texas, and nothing else matters. We're 2A Division II. We're the lowest division of man football. But in my mind and my coach's mind, this is the best division of high school football. And that's how I've got to be every day. So when you do ask us about, coaches in general, just from my opinion, um, I'll tell you at any point we're going to win the game. I mean, and that's just how I am. I'll put it on record. Are y'all going to win? Yes, we're going to win. Because I'm never going to tell. And I will say, at times, we're going to win if we do things right, if we do this, if we do that. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be confident enough in our scheme and our kids and coach them well enough, in our opinion, that we're going to give them every shot to be successful. And we got a long ways to go here at Linden Kildare. It's not a finished product by no means, but it's a lot like baking a cake. I have all the ingredients. I just got to figure out, how we're about to start stacking it together and put the icing on top at the end. Whenever the end is, and I'm hoping it's 4, 5, 6, 7 years from now, or maybe never. I hope when I leave here, if I ever do, that it was really bad when I was here at the beginning, not before me. When the game we played against Paul Pewitt Thursday night was not good at all. The positive was we didn't quit, but it looked nothing like what I envisioned us to look like as a football team, and we're going to go work on Monday so that never happens again. And so I hope when it, I always keep all the games on huddle, because 3 years from now, when I have this thing rolling, I'm going to pull that game up, the Paul Pewitt game. And I'm going to show the kids every year that game.
Mm-hmm.
And just so they understand where we come from and where we've been. And so maybe that'll keep the fire lit in them to work hard, and let's not do that ever again. And that's the message is, that was a mistake. That whole game, we made a lot of mistakes, but they didn't quit. I didn't deal with there wasn't any quitting from kids individually, and they're going to show up tomorrow. We have Labor Day practice at 3:00, and we're going to get back to work, and that game's over. You're actually lucky, because this is the last time I'll ever talk about it. So we'll never bring it back up as long as I live, until next year when I play the game in front of the kids next year to start the season. So I'm very excited. There's a lot of support people in my life that's around Linden Kildare that helps me every day. And without those people in my life, I wouldn't be half of what I am. So I want to give a shout out to all the people that's helped me every day around here. Because there's a lot of, when you come to a new place in the middle of the school, you don't even know who to send an email to get anything. So there's been a lot of influential people in the district step up and for the betterment of athletics, and want me to be successful and want the program to be successful. And so shout out to them, and I appreciate them very much. And I'm not naming any names because there's way too many people to name, obviously, but there's a couple of people that know who I'm talking to them about. And I just want to give them their recognition as well, because it's not just me. I do the interviews. I'm out there on Friday nights, but there's certain people in this district that, it wouldn't look the way it looks. It wouldn't be organized the way it's organized if it wasn't for them in this district. And so I wanted to give a shout out to them as well. So,
Well, I really like what you said. Pretty like you said, you're not ever gonna have the mentality of, oh, we're gonna lose this game. I'm gonna paraphrase this because I forgot exactly what happened, but I'm a Titans fan. That's a Tennessee Titans flag up here, and they were the worst team in the NFL last year. And a few weeks ago, their GM was being interviewed, and somebody asked them if they could win the Super Bowl this year. And I forgot what exactly he said, but pretty much he said no. Like, we're rebuilding. We're we're gonna rebuild this thing." And they were like, "Dang, like how demoralizing is that? If every team in the NFL, no matter if you're the New York Jets or the Kansas City Chiefs, that should be your goal is to win the championship. If you're in
Mm-hmm.
college, that should be your goal. If you're at Linden Kildare, that should be your goal. You shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
say, oh, well, we'll go to the first round playoff and lose. We'll be a 4 seed, play 1 seed, we'll get beat out. That should not be your mentality. If you are the 4 seed, then you go play the number 1 seed and you punch them in the mouth and you advance to the next round. That's the mentality you got to have.
Well, and I think it has a lot to do. I mean, obviously, NFL to high school football is totally different. They're dealing with grown men and contracts and agents and GM. I think in every, I've said this, and it's true. And I may be the first person to ever say it publicly, but we all start two a days at the same time. But there's only about 3 or 4 high school football teams in every division that can actually win a state championship. I mean, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's about 3 or 4. Uh, there's 103 2A Division two teams. There's probably 3, maybe 4 teams out of 103 that's got got all the tools ready to go win a state championship. And so when you look at it in that perspective, we don't have a trade deadline. We don't have free agency. We don't have, my running back goes down. Let me go get another one out of the portal. I mean, there's that just doesn't exist for us.
Mm-hmm.
So, who your roster is day one, minus maybe a move in here or there that happens, you pretty much can, just on paper see kind of what your ceiling is. As a coach, you don't say it publicly, obviously, but, and I think it's all different. I mean, obviously, here at Linden Kildare, our goals are, and the expectations are totally different than there in Carthage, Texas. I mean, and even when I came from Liberty Ilo, I mean, what the goals was there and the expectations and what the ceiling was there is totally different. And so, like you said earlier in the podcast, that just winning one game is improvement. But if Carthage wins just one game this year, I mean, the town may burn up, So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's all relative. But you are correct. In the NFL, everybody should be going to, because they all have the best players in the NFL, and they should be able. They have other means to fix issues rather than high school football and even college football. College football, they can go get in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
They can transfer in and out. So that just as a coach and just talking in general, there's where you are is what your expectations are, and that's just, and it's not even what you put on yourself. It's what the outside world views you as. I mean, we're ranked, I think 102 out of 103 teams right now, but I can guarantee you we're not the 102nd worst team in Texas. There's not 101 teams better than Linden Kildare Tigers, and that's my goal is to prove it, day in and day out, and work on it. So. Uh, Not bashing anybody that does rankings or any of that, but I mean, in my mind, I'm very personal, emotions on my sleeve type of coach, and if it's going to come out and look at that, I'm going to tell my kids in my locker room we're going to work every day to prove them wrong, and so that's just my mentality and how I approach every day.
Well, I mean, that's really all I got, Coach. Pretty much we talked about everything I wanted to talk about and some.
Okay.
Uh, I get on my college football soapbox, man, and I can go 2 hours.
I can go forever. I mean, I'm a talker. I got to have coaches put me on a time limit for the pregame speech, or I'll still be talking to them, and we won't go out there for kickoff. I mean, I just get to going and rambling, and so. But man, I really appreciate you giving your platform to not only myself but Linden Kildare Athletics. We need. I'm willing to do this at any point. You we win our first game, you can bring me back on. We can talk about it. We can celebrate my first win. So, good luck to you. And if you need any help reaching out, more than just email, and you need some coaches' numbers around East Texas that you want to interview, just holler at me and I can get you in contact with them. I promise. I either know them or I know somebody around them. So, I can get you in contact. There's some couple of coaches you really want to interview. So,
I'm about to say I've messaged probably 40 something of them already. Um, I don't know if that's
well,
the
I
best
will
way.
say your email. I will say your email pops up as uh, potential spam for some reason. it shows it potential spam, and then it's your email.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of coaches may just click over it because we don't know. I mean, it says potential spam.
Yeah.
Heck, it probably is. I just happen to click on it and read it anyway. But for some reason, with the safety settings and all that for a school email, I think that's why you may not be getting as many responses as you think you may be.
Well, that's what I
So,
figured. Because I was like, when I finally decided to do this, I was like, coaches love talking about their team. They love talking about themselves, their team, their school, all that. I've never seen a coach who didn't like talking about football. So I was like, if I email 47 coaches, I should get 47 interviews. And like I said, I've emailed like probably 45 coaches, and I've only gotten like probably 8 or 9 responses back so far. But I still got all season to go, and if I got to re-interview the same coaches, if I got to interview you after you get your first win, I guess I'm gonna have to interview you next week sometime.
yeah, you shoot me a message on Facebook or however. But like I say, if there's somebody you really want to visit with about something that's intriguing, and you're trying to get a hold of them, just shoot me a message on Facebook. I bet if they're in East Texas, I either can get a hold of them or I know somebody who can. So
Well,
just holler at me, and I'll help you out in any way I can.
but hopefully I can get this thing kicked off and get more coaches.
Well, we're gonna share it on all our social media pages once you edit it and send me the link to it and all that. So hopefully we can help you get started and people start following along a little bit. So
Yeah, man. Well, hope y'all stay healthy, and hope for a great year for y'all. Whether it be 1-9, 2-8, 3-7, 4-6, whatever it is.
whatever it is,
I hope it,
I'll be here for it.
I hope there's progress, and I hope y'all stay healthy, man.
Well, I appreciate you very much for your time. Thank you very
All
much.
right, take care, man.